I would attach that cut fill table to your subassembly. So yeah, so do a right click on subassemblies, or yeah, it could be in that panel.
This one?
Yeah, so you'll
okay.
grab those and then insert it at your catch, I want to say. Or not your catch, sorry, your hinge.
So do I... Does it insert? Inserts after, so this one.
So pick the white X, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and then do that for the fill. Oh, I guess...
It did keep this in here, which might be weird.
Yeah, I'd undo that. You want to insert it. You don't want to insert. Right. You just want to attach.
Here we go. In assembly. There.
I guess. There we go, yeah.
Okay, now it does both.
Yeah, so now it should just be last in the list. And then, yeah, do that one as well.
Invalid selection. But not what I did. Oh boy.
Did it place it?
Didn't like it.
Maybe cancel out of that command. And then try to place it again.
Table. Marker point. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, it's probably because you're still in a command when you tried to initiate that command again. So then you select those two and then mirror it. Ooh, I would not do that. Maybe just do a regular left click select. You probably grabbed your end
because there's the other one in there.
Oh boy, you got a lot. Let's go. Let's go to your assembly properties. And then construction. Yeah, so delete out 3 of those cut tables.
Oh. Huh. Oh, not able to group select, huh?
Unfortunately. So now.
Okay.
Now do the mirror.
And I have just the 2. Yes. Okay.
And then so the command's up on the ribbon. Nope, you're not going to want to do that mirror.
Oh. There's a different mirror.
Yeah, there's a assembly specific mirror up on the ribbon. Modify right subassemblies. Yep.
Marker point. And then so it wants this one or the center line?
I think it's center line.
Okay, give that a go.
I could be wrong.
Oop, did not like that.
Nope. Okay, so it is the point that it wants that you're wanting to attach it to. Perfect. And then go into your assembly properties. And then we'll go your cut table. Oh, you're going to want to change your right, the left side that's named right, change that to left. That's one of the downsides to mirroring. And then just make sure those parameters match your cut fill tables.
Yeah. 4, 3, 2, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5. Oops. And that'll be the same. And I'm at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5.
Okay.
I have an extra one. 5 and 4. Well, good enough.
Yeah, you can. So if you don't want those extras, like cut 1, 2, 3, 4. Was there one that you didn't want, or was it on the
I
daylight
appear to
side?
have an extra one in here that's not in this one, but I'm not worried about it right now.
The daylight had a 5, and the table does not.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's maybe we need to add a 5 in so that way it matches the daylight. But yeah, just hit OK and then rebuild real quick, and then hopefully it builds it. Nice. All right, so that looks like it's in the right spot.
I see.
So now you could delete those lines that you drew.
Idea. Would those stay in
Yeah, those
this
live. Those are
view,
in the
or would they
models.
follow through like
Oh.
the like in open roads?
They are in the model space. Like the view that
Oh.
section view is just a turned. It's just a turned model space view.
Oh.
So
Huh.
for that spot there, what I would do is just draw a draft line where it intercepts on that 5-to-1 cut, or wherever you want it to actually catch. So you'd start a line. So start a line command, and then at that intercept wherever you want it to catch the surface. Well, that
And
one's on a.
just
That's on a that violates your cut table because that's the steepest slope.
right.
So if you zoom out a little bit, so the green, anything below green is good. So anything below green is good. But then to be at or above yellow, you need to be above the yellow line. You see how it kind of crosses there? So it's just a visual aid
Okay.
of the table.
This is our height
Yes.
for this slope.
Yep. So you can't be that slope until that height.
Okay, I see. Okay. It is a bit of a riot of color, but I think I get it.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a lot of lines.
Okay.
It kind of, that part kind
Gotcha.
of sucks. But so if you ever want to turn that table off, go to your assembly again. And then go to your assembly properties. And then on construct, on the table, you can go to the display parameter and change it to
Okay.
no, and then rebuild, and it'll remove those tables. But so let's just turn it back on, I guess, because
We do want to look at it.
yeah,
But
it'll take
out these, or it'll take out all of it.
all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
I
just like a
see.
visual aid for while you're modeling.
Did this one, right? Yes.
So then that line that you took I can kind of
Uh-oh.
see it there.
That one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then if you take that end grip
Ah.
in the section view,
This one?
yep, and then you can, yeah, click the end grip, and then in your model view, in your top view,
Uh-huh.
click into it. And now you can place
Wow.
that draft
Okay.
line wherever you want. So then do that real quick.
Huh.
Place it somewhere. So now you take a new polyline in your model view, in your top view. And it has to be a polyline or a 3D polyline or a feature line or a survey figure. Those are the only offsets you can target. But so a polyline or a 3D
Okay.
polyline. So then draw a 3D or draw a 2D polyline in your top view.
You mean, when you say top, you mean plan?
Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Because top to me means this one that I put on top.
Oh, sorry.
Oops.
In
No.
your plan view, and then draw from your last catch to that catch to the next catch.
This.
So it won't need to be an intercept, just an end point. You have to do it twice when
Not
you.
liking it.
Well, it will. You canceled your.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That explains the behavior I have seen.
Yeah. So if you do that, like if you change one and you're like, wait, I didn't want that one, and you change it to a different snap, it
That
actually
just
cancels.
undoes it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have to change it again. So then go to the next intercept or to the next catch, endpoint of the next catch. So what I like to do is I like to have a layer name for each target parameter that I'm going to have. So I like to do like an X working forced cut right, and then forced catch working, or let's see. Oh, so if you go to your layer properties, your layer manager thing. Oh.
And make a new layer.
Yeah, so it'll be new layer. Oh, make sure you're on. Okay, that works. If you make a new layer and you're not
Solid
in the right
X.
filter, it kind of screws things up.
Ging.
Done.
As an aside, while we're looking at this, does it have to be 4-letter bits, or is that just a convention?
It's just a convention. We would prefer, additional layers to follow the convention, but
Okay, but it won't break
it's not
anything if I
no,
make.
it's not a limitation.
Okay.
Yeah, I would name it X working and then do your side, so like a left, so an L, and then I've got a bunch of them, but there's a so I do one for ditch both, ditch elevation, ditch offset, forced catch, forced cut, forced daylight, forced fill, force slope both, force slope elevation, force slope offset, and then like pest display, and then all of these layers. So yeah, just do like left. Let's do left forced cut, and then do a left forced catch, because there's for this subassembly that we're kind of working on, you're going to want at least 4. So a forced catch, so left forced catch.
So you're saying we should add these to the state kit?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Will you put in a request for us?
Sure.
Do you mind?
And then, okay, so you got forced cut, forced catch, forced fill, and then forced daylight.
What is the difference between force catch and force fill?
So there's 4 different targets that the daylight uses. So a forced cut is going to force it into a cut condition at the location. A forced fill is going to force it into a fill condition at the location. A forced daylight is going to force it into a daylight condition at the offset. And a forced catch is going to force it to the location, but using some logic to say if it's in a cut, fill, or a daylight. So the forced catch is dynamic. It's pretty much just changing the hinge location. So a cut is going to hinge off of the ditch bottom. Daylight is going to hinge off of the fore slope or the ditch in. And a fill is going to hinge off of your hinge. And then the forced catch is going to hinge off of the ditch out if it's above and outside of the ditch. It'll hinge off of the fill if it's below and outside of the hinge, and it'll hinge off the daylight if it's neither of those or something like that. It just, it actually takes, so that it's actually off of the slope of the previous hinge. But so if you just add in a forced fill and a forced daylight, and then one for each, for your left and your right.
While I'm typing, what is the meaning of daylight in this usage? Because to me, there's a kind of ditch that is a daylight ditch where you just force it at 20 or 50 to 1. Is that how you're using that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's I
Because it
kind of
confuses
really
the hell out of me
dislike
that the subassembly is just called daylight.
Yeah, I dislike that as well. Because we used to
Oh.
call it, like you said, a daylight is when it's
Yeah.
not a ditch, but not a fill. It's that when
Wasn't
it
that an
hinges off of
MDT
the.
thing?
No, well,
Yeah.
no, when we got those, they had kind of already labeled them and everything for us. We would have probably named it end condition,
Oh,
Yes, end condition would make me very
but
happy.
Me
But-
too.
But AutoCAD calls, I don't know what AutoCAD means by daylight because I've looked at those subassemblies and I don't know what they do.
I think it's just whenever it's catches, right? It's just.
Yep. it's
It's just
Where it
whenever
hits daylight.
Yeah.
so
I guess that makes sense.
so yeah, we've all struggled with that, and it'll probably forever haunt us.
Yes.
Is it because I've typed it too many times or have I been spelling force wrong this whole time?
Oh, you're fine.
That's
I
how
would
you
have
spell
put an
force.
underscore between them, but
that's
Huh.
right. Force is right.
Okay. Just
Unless you're
because
British,
I've
then I
been
think you
typing
I
it
know
too
when
many
you
times.
when you think about it too much, yeah, or type it too many times. I have the same.
or when you say a
Same
word too many
issues.
times, it starts
Yeah.
sounding weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a word? Yeah.
Edge fill. Okay, just to have them for now. Because if I change, I guess this is a thing I should double check. If I change the layer in here, anything that is on that layer will not get orphaned. It'll just know, oh, you changed the name of this layer?
Right. So
Okay.
yeah. If you have something on that layer and you change the layer name, everything on that layer changes with it.
Okay, good. I would hope so, but
But you can't delete it. You can be like, I think if you do a right click, you can be like, hey, instead of this layer, be this layer. Like I think you can, if you do a right click on it,
on
you
in
can
here.
say merge selected layers to. So that would be like
okay. So
anything
everything on
these
that layer
selected layers
becomes
actually
okay.
become this layer, right? So you could do that, or if you just rename it, then it just everything renames with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Good.
So yeah, but you
Glad it
can't
works
delete
that
it.
way.
If there's something on that layer, you can't delete it. So the only way to get rid of that layer is to do a merge
Okay.
if there's something on it. So now that we got those, let's go back. You can just escape out of that. So that polyline you drew, put that on either the right forced catch or the right forced cut.
Let's do right force catch. Did you like that? You did.
Oh yeah, and so you could do your, yeah, you can delete that draft line too. And that's another thing I do is all my draft lines are on like a specific, I draw everything on a draft line or on a draft layer. So then I can just do a right click select similar and just delete them because I'll have draft lines all over the place and not know
Okay.
where they're at. So I'll just delete them all every now and then. But so then you put it on
Gotcha. Okay.
that layer, correct?
This is on X working force catch.
Perfect. So now if you go into your subassembly, or sorry, your corridor properties, and then go set all targets, and then offset elevation, or so just to make sure, maybe hit cancel because I don't know which region you went into. Oh, did you do set all?
I did do all of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I kind of looked like you might have just done for one region, but so then if you click on subassembly drop down at the very top, we can sort this for right daylight with subbase. So just select and then check back on right MDT.
Right.
Daylight with subbase. So turn everything off again.
It
Do
should
the
all be
select
off
all
except...
results. Okay, okay. As long as you think it is.
Oh, it's not.
Deselect everything.
It says
Yeah,
rat.
do the select all, uncheck, and then just check on the right MDT daylight. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. That's
Wait,
strange.
I know why. Okay.
Oh, that's
Hold
interesting.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah, okay, it's just the search results that it's selecting for you.
And then if I...
And then just hit enter, and it should. Nice.
Okay, there we go.
So then you can expand these. Okay, and then, so this was the right, what layer did you put it on? Catch, right? So forced catch offset. And then you can just check on in the bottom right, just check that, and then everything that gets put on that layer will now be targeted to this target.
Oh, okay. That is very easy. So it is like a horizontal feature constraint in open roads.
I can't remember what those are all called. I have been at a MicroStation for so long.
That's fair. I'm just finishing up my last open roads project.
So then you can right click this target. So you can copy targets. They kind of get a little finicky, but so if you right click on forced catch offset up in the top window.
This one.
Yep. And then you can copy target, and then you can paste that to any other offset target, and it will take those properties. But you're just going to want to do it to forced catch. And you can also copy all of the targets for so if you scroll up a little bit, you can right click on, you can copy targets for all of those and paste it as well. But
that is so handy.
It gets a little finicky. You gotta be watching and be careful of what you're doing sometimes.
As long as that's what you want to do. Yeah, got it.
Right. Now you can hit OK and rebuild, and it'll put it right to where you wanted it to be. And it looks like you got a decent length. I would kind of suggest like maybe every 5,000 feet. Wait, do you even have 5,000 feet?
So I
How long is your project?
It's 5.5 miles.
Okay,
And
so yeah,
I know that the suggestion is every 3 miles. I am perhaps unwisely doing a little bit of testing on my own, just to see how I feel about 5 miles.
So what I like to do is I like to split mine up into like 5,000 feet ish. And then if I'm working in a specific region, I can turn all of those other, so I've got like a 7-8 mile project, right?
Uh-huh.
I can turn off everything but that one little region I'm working in. And then the processing speed is very fast. Like, you don't have to process the whole corridor every time you're trying something.
Oh.
You can just process that 5,000 foot chunk. But then you have to remember to turn everything back on when you're producing your surfaces.
So you don't have to break it up into different corridors in different
Correct.
files. You can break it up in different regions.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have to write that down.
So yeah, I run my whole
It's not
project
it's no
in one
region.
corridor, but then just break it up into regions. And then when I
Okay.
produce, and then I just turn everything on, process for the surface creation. And then my surfaces are created in a different file with an XREF of the corridor. So that way, when I'm changing things in my corridor file, it's not messing with my surfaces.
Okay. Did you say an XREF or a data ref?
Oh, sorry, data shortcut, yeah.
Okay.
So in my PTR file, I data shortcut my corridor and then create my surfaces in that file. So I don't have any surfaces in my corridor, or no corridor surfaces in my corridor file.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I assume you can do that in the corridor properties. How would you turn off a region?
Yeah, you just do that little check button.
It's just this?
Yep.
Oops, that's the one we're in though, so.
Yes, you just uncheck that, hit OK, rebuild, and it'll only rebuild that section.
Oh. That's
a lot faster.
very convenient.
So yeah, I try to do that for,
Okay.
try to split it up into manageable chunks, you know. It does make your target list. That's one of the downsides to it, is your target list then is per region. So you'll have a bunch of duplicate sections. So you'll have to keep your target straight. But if as long as you do that layer trick, as long as you're putting things on that layer, everything will target that layer as long as you set it. Like as soon as you set it to that layer, it'll always target everything on that layer.
Okay. Regardless of whether it's a feature line or a polyline, or if it's a feature line, you have to select that as well, or
So,
instead.
nope, anything on the layer.
Okay.
But it has to be, for an offset target, it has to be an offset, or for offset target, it has to be a polyline, 3D polyline, feature line, or a survey figure. And then for an elevation target, it has to be, yes, see, feature line, polyline, survey
Okay, because
figures.
this is the layer name, and it's how many things are on it.
Yeah, and if you go into the details,
Oh,
if you go into the details button, then you can specify which object.
interesting.
So if you had
Okay.
feature lines with names, that list would help.
Would
But
be more interesting.
yeah,
Gotcha.
but I just
Okay.
run off layer. So yeah, and then one thing you gotta watch out for is say like if you instead wanted this guy, this target, that one object that you already set to catch, if you actually wanted it to be a different target, it's going to stay as a target. That object, even though it's not on that layer anymore, will still be a target for this target. This target will still be targeting that object, even if you change the layer.
Huh. How does it know? I guess I
Right.
don't need to know how it knows, but
But
that's
then it'll
very
also be
strange.
targeting the other, like if you change it to forced cut, it'll still be, that object will still be on your forced catch offset targets and your forced cut offset targets. Because it'll holds the object if you change, if it's already a target, it holds the object even if you change the layer. But as soon as you change something to a layer that's a target, it gets put on that target, if that makes sense. I don't know. You'll have to probably
Take some fiddling
experiment. Yeah.
to really
Just
grok it.
keep an eye out on your targets, I guess. Just keep an eye out on that list and be like, every now and then maybe look at it and say, make sure you only have forced catch on your forced catch targets.
Uh-huh.
And you can control click in this list. If you scroll up or down to the other region, expand, or are you only in one region right now? Scroll
I
down.
believe I'm only in the one region.
Okay, maybe hit cancel. And then do set all targets.
Do this. Or specifically this button.
That button is the same as the one you clicked. Other
Okay.
than, I guess they're different. The one you did click was for that baseline specifically, and set all does all baselines. But
Okay.
for what you got, it was the same thing.
Got it.
But then, yeah, so then if you expand your two right daylights,
Daylight and one next to it.
and you can control left click forced catch offset in both of them.
There we go.
You can set targets that way as well. But then if you click one that has a different like subset, like if you did another offset like ditch width offset, since they don't
different.
match. So yeah, since they don't match, they're going to those targets lists will disappear on you.
Gotcha. So shift click probably won't work.
I don't know. I think it probably does work. It just selects
if they were all the same
yeah.
thing. Well,
I think shift, I don't know if it works or not. Yeah, it does.
Very strangely.
Well, it
selected everything that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it grouped it by
That's quite
elevation
cool.
offsets, or the elevation targets. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can hit cancel and try another one, or I guess if you have any questions, I mean, at this point, you just fiddle around, I guess. I don't know. Do you got any questions for me on this?
I think perhaps my brain is too full.
Yeah.
Let me skim my notes here just to make sure. I think I think I asked it, but I didn't write it down. If if I was going to instead use if I was going to instead of these targets use a slope to surface link and just tell it what slope I want, that would be either a whole new assembly, or I would use the conditional cut fill
Yeah, I have
subassembly.
no idea how that conditional thing works, so I don't know. I can't
Okay.
speak on that.
If I remember right, you just draw an on-off line. So I think one is if it has the line is drawn, and it'll do the other if the line is not drawn. So, in your plan view, you would just draw and just like you are now, kind of a catch line, but it doesn't have to be in the location. It's only there to turn it off and on. So if the line is there, it'll do the top condition. If the line is not there, it'll do the bottom condition, or vice versa. I can't remember how it worked, how it's set up.
Gotcha. Does it give me this. Does it have to intersect anything particular in here? Like in Geopack, we had to
Oh, the pattern lines? No.
okay.
Just
It
yep.
just has to be in here, and it just looks out infinitely? Or is there do you tell it how far to look in the subassembly?
I
Yeah, I
can't
believe
remember.
there's an option to like
Okay.
set how far out it looks.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. So there's like a range in there.
At that point, though, why not just use the? If you
Well,
still have to drive a poly, if you still have to draw a poly line and set the
it's
target, why not even? Why even do it?
it's all just going to be the person's logic,
Right.
whatever works better for them, I
Mhm.
guess. It's just another tool.
Yeah. That does seem to be Autodesk's motto. There's no one way to do anything. There's at least 6. Okay. Well, this has been tremendously helpful. Slightly headache inducing, but I have a lot to think about and a lot of different things to mess around with.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out to me if you have a question or something's not working as you expected.
Okay, will do.
Or if you think something's being too, like, if you think it's too hard, like, or if it's being a pain, you're probably doing something wrong. And reach out.
It is not supposed to be
Yeah, it should be
torturous.
fairly painless, in my opinion. I mean, this is how we modeled in MicroStation. It's even better than MicroStation, in my opinion. So it should be super easy.
It just takes getting used to. Yeah.
No, that's, I think, well, I have a lot to mess around with and figure out and play with. So that's good.
The only thing I could say that is worse in this program than in MicroStation is the parametric constraints. Like trying to change, being like from this station to this station, be this depth of CAC. Like in this program, we use the profile controls, which is kind of a pain, but there's a tool in the MDT design tab for parametric constraints under profiles, create or control profile editor. Yeah, so
Oh.
that thing helps immensely when you're using control profile parameter constraints.
So on, I guess I do have one last question, and perhaps this is more of a can of worms than a question. I messed around a tiny little bit with this tool, Edit Corridor Transition. And I did make um, I made some transitions, I suppose. Is there an issue with this other than that the subassembly, the parameters, I am losing my words. I didn't have them very well to begin with today. This overwrites these.
Correct.
Yes.
And is that the only issue with using these, or is there some other reason that we also shouldn't, or just because this takes precedence?
Me personally, I would avoid it at all costs because if you delete a region, there goes all of your parametric constraints.
Yeah. So Eric, when I asked Eric from Envision CAD, his suggestion was to use that as a tool at the end if you needed it. You know, like, so if
Okay.
you were fine tuning at the end, you know, something comes up or there's a, you know, a late change or something. Because like Justin said, you could lose all those. Yeah. But they
Okay.
do work. They do work very well, but he said to try and keep that to the bottom of your list.
Yeah, and if
For
you
last
do it,
use.
maybe use that export thing. Like once you get everything set, maybe export it just in case something happens and you
Kind
lose
of like
something.
with the bucket in open roads.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I would use it last case scenario. It is helpful. It does work. One thing I will say, if you're trying to change a slope over a distance, it is not going to interpolate via slope. It's going to convert it to grade and then interpolate on grade instead of on slope, if that makes sense. So your 6-to-1 to a 2-to-1 is actually going to get converted to a 16.66% and interpolate from 16 to 50 instead of from 6 to 2.
Oh. That sounds very math intensive.
Yeah, it's so then the only way to get it to interpolate on a slope over a station range is to use the parametric constraint or the parameter reference on a profile control.
Okay.
So if that's something that you run it, I ran into it because I had the only reason why I found out is because I had one of them was running off of the slope to like on a profile control from a 6 to a 2 on my bridge end, and then I used this to control a different one from a 6 to a 2, and they were not the same slopes. That's how I found out about it. But yeah, so this thing converts slopes to grade, and then it does the interpolation.
Okay.
If that's ever an issue for you.
Probably it will be at some point.
And if so, then another part of that issue, which it's the inverse on the other way, but if you're going from like a flat or going from something to flat, because, or if you're going something from something to flat, it like happens immediately.
Ah. Huh. Not very transition-y of it then.
Yeah, because like the relationship between the slopes and grades are inversed. So when you're going from, I can't remember exactly what it is, but from something to flat or vertical on the slope, it happens immediately. And then on the other one, it doesn't. But then when you're going from something to vertical on the other one, or something, it flips.
Huh.
Just because one approaches infinity. Like
Gotcha. Okay.
flat on slope is infinity to 1. Vertical on slope is 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Vertical on grade is infinity %. Flat on grade is 0.
Huh. Interesting. Bottom line, use profile controls for slope transitions.
Hopefully,
That
yeah.
the takeaway? Okay.
Ideally, yeah. For most things, try to
Okay.
use. I would last case scenario would use the corridor transitions, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we can or if we added it or not, but I don't think you can use them on the parameter reference. I don't know if we added that yet, because it has to be displayed in the corridor.
You mean that you have to have your profile with the line drawn on it in the corridor file for it to do anything? Is that what you're saying?
No, for the corridor transition tool to work on the parameter reference subassembly, I'm not sure if we have that functionality, but we can.
I don't know if we do either.
Because it just needs to be a do not construct. It needs to be constructed. The like if I'm looking right now. Hold on. But that's something we should probably add. I can't even find it. Oh, there it is. Oh, so we do have it producing a point, at least. A no code point. So you might be able to select it. I don't know. Are you able to?
Okay. I see what you're saying. I was not able to find it when I was looking. Is it?
So if you were to start a new corridor transition,
Yeah,
and then like
it'd be
it should be
somewhere
like
in
right
here,
on center
right?
line. Yeah. Yeah, it's not there. So I think it needs to have a link. I think because it's just a point, there's nothing to
That makes sense.
select. So that's something we should probably do. But then we're gonna need to have like a do not construct code or a no code or something. But then you would be able to use that corridor transition on the parameter reference.
Yeah, I don't suppose. Does it let me grab?
I've never tried
It
that.
doesn't. It does not appear to want to grab out of the assembly. It only wants. Yeah, it's weird that there's not or enter for a list.
Yeah, what's the class name do?
So as far as I know, so right now it tells me the actual name of this subassembly, and if I changed it to class name, it just
Oh, it just changes it to the PKT file name.
yes.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure what real use that is.
Yeah.
I guess if your naming convention for your subassemblies did not include the class, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I think that's all I got for you.
That's good. I'm not sure I could absorb any more.
Well,
Don't have any more wrinkles in my brain unfilled.
well, I
I
will
just want
look
to say
into.
thank you too
Yes,
for going
thank
through
you,
that. That was
Cheston.
good for me.
Yes. And I would
Yeah, that was
like
awesome.
to get your guys' permission to maybe clean up today's recording and provide it to people.
Yeah.
Definitely
I was
give
thinking the
Daniel
same
a copy.
thing.
Yeah, I'll give Daniel a
maybe a
copy for
redo.
sure because I don't think he can get in here and access those. But if it's okay with Daniel and Cheston, obviously, just to
Yeah.
have a little help video out there and to fill in some gaps.
Sure, it's pretty scattered, but if
Yeah.
it might help somebody, sure.
I think it was really helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
But again, I guess one thing I would want to know from you, Daniel, is do you think it would be worth, after going through all that, do you think it would be worth to pursue bringing back in multi-intercepts or first intercept toggle to the daylight end condition?
I would have to
Is that something
go.
you'd
I would have
still
to
want
go
to
through
see?
the whole. I'd want to go through my whole corridor first and see.
How often it happens?
See how much, because this is right at the very beginning. I noticed the first one. I couldn't figure out how to fix it, and I went, well, I'm gonna ask because I don't know what I'm doing here. So now that I do have some idea, I think I would like to go through and see how much work, because in a lot of situations you're not going to have this exact, well, we're at the wrong spot, but this exact problem. So I think table it, and if if you guys as a committee decide, you know what, this is worth our time, then go for it. But I think don't decide off of my complaint on this project to do it, because maybe it is more work to make it work in the back end. It sounds like an awful lot of work anyway.
So for a toggle to be like use first intercept on fill, use last intercept on fill, I feel like that would be pretty decent. It'd be not too bad of a lift. Doing a multi-intercept though, that's where it starts getting a little tricky, especially if you're trying to do intercepts from last or intercepts from first. Like, what's the user want? When I feel, in my opinion, I always wanted to hit last intercept. I wanted to actually build from steepest, last intercept to shallowest, and if it's not where I want it to be, then I use these forced cuts and fills to be where I want it to be, because then I know it's always going to be
Mhm.
in a good table spot. Like it's like I'm cutting the safest slope on default, or I'm building the safest fill slope on default, unless it's a 2-to-1 and then it's guardrail. But
Uh-huh.
Well,
normally, if
then-
you can catch a 2-to-1, you're probably steep.
Yeah. I think, oh, go ahead.
I was just say, and wouldn't your workflow be similar? Because like what, say maybe the beginning, you want the first intercept and then halfway through it, you want the last, there's still going to be all these areas where you're going to want to jump back and forth. So you're still kind of doing that same workflow of going through it,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just a thought.
Right.
Yeah. I think if we want multi-intercept specifically, there's the built-in, there's that AutoCAD subassembly somewhere in there. We can probably just, if that's what you want, make a new assembly with that one on it and use that.
Yeah. I just find that to be so much. I don't know. That's so much extra work, in my opinion, when you could just draw a line and be like, hey, this is where I wanted to catch.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you got to change and be like, well, count your intercepts. Oh, I want it to be on the third intercept. So now I got to change an input to be the third intercept.
Yeah. I don't know. I would probably, like on this project, I would use a toggle between first last. So if that's trivial, then I think at least I might find it useful sometimes.
Right.
But I don't, I don't want my complaints to be a cause for a lot of extra work that nobody else is gonna want when there are, so many ways built in already to manage it.
Well, and
Yeah.
we'll take into account feedback. So, it caught your attention. So maybe we need to look at it again and maybe it'll come up again. And then when we see the feedback, maybe it'll definitely be worth it. So it was good
Okay.
feedback. Yep.
As long as nobody ends up cursing my name
No,
at the end of
absolutely
it.
not. No.
I do think we need to look at the daylight subassembly to see why it's not catching in that specific spot. I feel like it should.
Okay.
I feel like it
Is
should
it
always catch. I don't know.
For the
It should
cut
be
scenario?
it should be a very hard, like that thing should have caught, in my opinion.
Is it because of that minimum ditch depth we added at some point?
It
And it's
must,
like really
yeah,
shallow?
it
Oh,
must be.
yeah, because does that measure off of, I assume off of this point, right?
Yeah.
And it is, okay.
I
So
feel like
maybe
we need to be like,
Is that a
even
toggle in here?
if it doesn't catch a fill with that minimum ditch or a fill or a daylight, it should go back to the cut condition and catch the cut. I feel like it should have caught that because the other two couldn't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
Okay.
we'll have
I'll
to
write
look
that
at
in our
that.
notes. Yeah.
If I
I'll
make
write it
this a
in.
0, will it throw a fit?
No, it'll just
Okay.
have a bunch of potentially have a bunch of sliver
Sliver
ditches when you
cuts.
could have had a fill or a daylight.
Gotcha. Okay. I bet that's exactly what happened because this isn't half a foot, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm
So,
gonna
but
not
in
make
this
that
case,
change.
since it couldn't be a fill or a daylight, it should have caught. So that we got
Yes.
something wrong with our logic that we need to fix. So I'm glad you found that.
Yep. I'm sure that's why, because that's only 0.33.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I guess if you have any questions on the forced targets or anything, reach out. All the forced catch does is it just kind of determines where the hinge needs to be based off of your offset. So once it drops below, once it drops to or below the 20-to-1, it's going to hinge off of the force slope. And then once it drops to or below the 6, it'll start dropping off of your hinge. Or it'll start hinging off of your hinge. So it just kind of follows that table as you go down. It just switches which hinge it's going to be on.
And if I tell, okay, if I told it force catch and put it here, it would go, okay, we're in cut, and it would do some kind of funky, whatever this slope is.
Yeah, yep. So
Okay.
if you zoom out just a little bit and give me a whiteboard, I could probably explain it a little bit better. Do you know how to start the whiteboard?
No, this is
Okay, under your settings for your presenting, there should be some options and like
I have settings.
Yeah, that share control bar.
Oh. I have all kinds of stuff.
So there should be like a whiteboard or start annotation. There we go. I can't see the bar, but I can see some of the
Okay.
pop-ups.
Starting annotations for everyone.
So I'll just, so here's your, if you do the catch, forced catch, the forced catch, and you are outside of your ditch, so offset wise, whoop, that got a little wonky, but if you're this way from this point and also above this 20-to-1, it will hinge off of this point. So anything in this area is going to hinge off of this point. And then once you get between these two, between those two, anything in this area is going to hinge off of this point. And then anything below in this area, sorry, that got a little wonky there. Anything below, it'll hinge off of this point. Does that make sense?
I think so.
So anything in this hinges off of that. Anything here hinges off of that. And anything here hinges from here. That's what the forced catch. And then with, oh, sorry, I cleared them. There, I put them back for you.
Thank you. Just. Oh. Screen clip doesn't like that apparently.
Aw, man.
What if I do? Nope.
I think we
Okay.
can,
Well,
I want to say we can like save them, but I can't remember. But
snapshot
anyways,
saved to whiteboard.
there you go.
Or how I get at it. That's not what I'm looking for.
I've got them for you, Daniel. I can put them in the chat.
Okay, perfect. As long as I can get at it. I suppose I don't need to know how to.
Yeah, and then when
Get it
you're
today.
using when you use a forced cut, it's always going to try to hinge off of this. Then when you try to use a forced daylight, it'll always try to hinge off of this one, and a forced fill will always try to hinge off of this one.
That makes perfect sense.
So I would say use
And the
forced catch.
just
Yeah,
does
forced
the
catch.
logic. Okay.
Yeah, forced catch, unless you're like, well, that's not catching where I want it to. I actually want it to hinge off of this, but down here or something. Then you use the cut, daylight, fill.
Okay. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay.
And then this is all, you can all combo this with your force slope elevation offset, your ditch elevation offset. And I think the safety slope, I can't remember which one that one is, but you can control these 3 points with elevation offsets as well.
Okay. Yep.
And their slopes with the parametric constraints. And
They're in there. Okay.
so I like to, like if I'm going into a pesc ditch, I'll drop this force slope on a specific elevation and then change my slope for that to meet the table. So like from this, so I'll start like this offset at this station to this offset to the next station, and then be like this is all 6, but then once I get past that offset, then I'm switching to a 4. If that makes sense. For like pesc ditches and stuff. I don't know how much grading you're going to have on your project, but
This one, hopefully not much.
yeah. I think we're working on we will be at some point doing a standalone pesc ditch assembly. So it can be off main line on a different alignment. Now I think I'm done.
Well, thank you very much. I have learned quite a lot.
I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, keep us posted. Feedback is great.